Look at these tiles. 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 This is Azul, a beautiful 2 to 4 player abstract strategy game. But whoa there, hey now, and other words that imply a reduction in speed, what is an abstract game? Abstract games are games that don't rely heavily on a theme. A game like Ticket to Ride is not an abstract game because its objectives and mechanics are intrinsically tied to its theme. In Ticket to Ride, you get carriages that are used to claim bits of track, which you then get points and victory points thereafter. You can tell I don't actually own a copy of Ticket to Ride. I mean, you could change the type of transport Ticket to Ride is about, but it will always be tied to that central theme. Now, Azul says it's about assembling the tiles that make up the walls of historic Portuguese buildings, but I'm gonna level with you here. Let's just go somewhere else to talk about it.
Okay, so now we're somewhere more private. Let me tell you a secret. Those tiles in Azul, they could be about anything.
Different types of building in a town, yes. Animals in a paddock, boom. Treats in a sweet shop. No, wait, get those out your mouth. Get them out. A turn of Azul goes as follows. You choose one tile colour from one of the factory discs in the centre of the table and take all of that colour, placing the remaining tiles from that disc in the centre. You can perform the same action by taking tiles from the central pool. You then place your tile or tiles in one of the rows on the left-hand side of your board. All tiles in one row must be the same colour, and each row of the pattern that you'll feed them into only has one available space of each colour. The aim is to fill these rows on the left by the end of the round so that you can move the tiles over onto your pattern on the right, kind of like a Technicolor conveyor belt. If for any reason you can't place a tile in a round because you didn't have space for it, they go on the bottom section of the board, which counts for minus points at the end of the round. This continues until all the tiles are gone, with each player choosing tiles in turn. Any completed rows have their tiles moved over onto the pattern, and any unfinished rows are carried over into the next round. Scores are then calculated according to how many tiles the newly added piece is adjacent to. So for example, this blue that I've just added isn't next to any tiles, so that's only 1 point. This yellow piece, however, is adjacent to this tile here, so that's worth 2 points. If, for example, you had a tile that you'd placed that was adjacent to a vertical and a horizontal piece, so let's say I've just added in this turquoise one here, you would count the tile you've placed twice. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4. The game ends when any one player finishes an entire horizontal row, and then there are bonuses to add to your overall score. And that's it really. Azul is a deceptively simple game, a devilishly simple one. There's always a temptation to keep your eyes down and focus on your board like a colourful game of bingo. But if you do that, you'll miss out on the absolute ruthlessness that lies at the heart of this game. Let's give an example. On your turn, you realise you need a red tile to finish this row, and the player next to you needs a blue tile to complete their row. Now, do you take the red to fulfill your goal for this turn, or deliberately take a tile that may slow your overall progress just to impede your opponent? Or put more succinctly, do you want a happy life, or do you want to burn every friendship you've ever had to the ground? Now, normally, if you asked board gamers to recommend a game for those new to the hobby, they'd probably recommend something quite theme-heavy, like Ticket to Ride, or Pandemic, or Camel Up. However, I'd argue that games like Azul can be really good for those just starting out. You don't need to tell your gran why you're raiding this particular sector of space or exploring this dungeon, just how the game works and how you score points. I've played Azul with pretty much everybody, from those I've played board games with for ages to making it my family's Christmas game last year, and everybody loves it. The accessible nature of this puzzle means that even those who just like something like Sudoku or a good crossword will find it incredibly accessible. Like Muse on their 8th studio album, Azul knows exactly what it's about, what it wants to be, and doesn't really care what you think about it. But don't let the size of this box fool you. This is what happens when you take a game and strip it down to the thrumming engine underneath. And this is a V8 of cardboard and some acrylic plastic.